you gotta pay the troll toll. If you want to get into that boy's hole, you gotta pay the troll toll to get in. You want the baby boy's hole, you gotta pay the troll toll. You gotta pay the troll toll to get in. Troll toll. What you say? Troll toll. Hey, hey, hey. Troll toll.
Hello and welcome to the new episode of the Refundables with your hosts, me, Punch, and of course,
me, Peppy.
Wow, congratulations, you managed to say your name with some vigor this time.
That's right, we're super energized. We're high energy, and we're gonna talk like radio people now.
And this week, we're reviewing Donut County, which is another game by game journalist darling Ben Esposito.
Oh, okay.
I think he's a journalist darling. He made another game called Nudo, which was like a puzzle platformer, and Trash King, which partially inspired characters in this.
I have written in my notebook, because we keep notes now, hipsters will love this game.
You're absolutely right. So, hipsters will love this game. It's a physics puzzle game.
Really, really light on the puzzles part.
We'll get to that in a bit, though.
Okay. The game is about, you play like a raccoon, I think. You just put things into a hole in the ground that you move around with your mouse.
Well, the story behind it is you're a raccoon who just moved into town and took over the local donut shop. And you have a girl, Mira, who works for you. And basically you deliver donuts, but you have no idea what a donut is as a raccoon. So instead of delivering actual donuts, you're delivering holes to people, and the holes just swallow everything up. And it's kind of like, did you ever play Katamari Damacy?
Yeah, I have played a little bit of it, but yeah, I get what you're going with it.
Yeah, it's like the same concept. A ball that rolls up progressively bigger things because it increases in size every time it rolls something up. Well, it's the same with the hole. Every time the hole swallows something, it grows a little bit bigger.
Yeah, just like women.
But I thought the story was, well, crafted well enough. It starts off with you guys all down deep below the earth, trying to find out what the hell happened to the town. And they're all sitting around a circle in a campfire going, who the fuck did this? And how did we end up here? And progressively, like, play all the scenarios. Because all the villagers explain how they ended up down there. And you play through how they got down there, how the hole swallowed their business or home or whatever.
Trying to do a Tarantino thing. Really overestimate what you're trying to do. But yeah, you start the game as the girl, and then it throws you into it throws like 9 weeks later or something, and then you're all in a hole in the ground, and everybody's like, what happened? And the raccoon's like, well, it wasn't me though. And then the quirky humor starts.
I was amused enough by the characters. I thought it was well written enough. It wasn't full of pop culture references and shit like that. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's a quirky story. You're a raccoon who's kind of a dick. That's basically it.
Just how the characters are written. I've been reading a lot on your like comics and shit, and it just reeks of the like 2014. Not like there's no punchy jokes. Everything's like sarcasm, and everything's like we're too cool to be here. You know, too cool for school kind of shit.
I guess
there's nothing edgy about it.
I thought it was all right with the quirkiness and the design of the world. They're all Los Angeles landmarks and shit. And, you know, Los Angeles is also buried in trash. Hooray.
Is there a social commentary here?
Come on now. Of course it's a social commentary.
Give it all the rewards.
It's a game journalist game, also in the sense that it's really fucking easy.
I have it written down here in my notebook. It's actual note. You can hear the paper. It says, barely a game. Which I think is pretty accurate.
And I think it's a shame because it could be so much cooler because it's a good idea for physics puzzles. But the problem is with designing good puzzles, you have to be smart enough to design a good puzzle. And
you have to have the courage of you trusting the audience that they can figure it out.
Yeah, you have to trust your audience not to be mentally challenged.
I'd give an example with Fez. Even though the creator of Fez is a fucking trash bin, Fez is a great game. And the puzzles were so hard, they had to fucking brute force some of them to even, like, figure the fuck out what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, he made his own alphabet. He made everything. You know, it's great. But this is just, like, No Man's Sky is a tech demo about we can create worlds with nothing in them. This is a tech demo of Look at how good the physics are and stuff reacts well. I noticed. But this looks like a tech demo. And on top of it, there's a bunch of story on it. No substance behind it, just like a... I feel like there's no soul behind it, even though there is.
He got the original idea for the game when he went to Native American tribal land.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, I'm going to make a game based around Hopi Indian cultural stuff. It was basically the same concept as the game currently is, where you just have a hole and you're sucking up stuff, but it was like Indian stuff or Native American stuff.
Oh, careful.
Don't want to be politically incorrect.
I'm going to get kicked off Patreon for being problematic.
And so he demoed it at PAX in 2012, and everyone really liked it. But a bunch of Native Americans played it and was like, this isn't at all what our culture is like, and this is really insensitive to our culture. So he felt bad about that. There he rewrote the entire game to be, about a guy who thought he was hot shit and then had to be confronted with the fact that he was kind of a dick and had to learn to make up for his mistakes.
So he pretty much wrote the raccoon as himself.
Yeah.
Weird parable. Oh my god.
The raccoon is a self-insert.
Just imagine a guy masturbating in front of a mirror. This is what we have in game form. Like that's just as self-congratulate the masturbatory as I would expect him to. Like, it's great. That's the cherry on the top of the fucking shit pile.
I think it would have been fine as a game if they made it harder. And what I think is more severely lacking is the scale. Because you always start as the smallest kind of hole. You can barely suck up a brick. The quote-unquote puzzle element is finding the order in which you suck up the items. But it's way too easy. And you always end up at the same scale. The thing that was so appealing in its closest relation game, which is Katamari Damacy, was the fact that, you rolled up greater and greater things and you kept going until you were swallowing literal planets and stuff. I think they could have gone way more in that direction with it, and it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I think so. Just make it absolutely stupendously extreme.
Yeah, because they're already going for a quirky game, and then the gameplay isn't quirky enough.
You becoming like a black hole, just sucking up everything. That'd be really fun, actually, yeah.
Yeah, start at an even smaller scale. Do like Spore, but with a hole that sucks up everything.
Sucking up sand particles or atoms.
Sucking up tiny bugs and atoms and whatnot, individual cells and shit. And then you're just growing and growing until you're, going through houses, then city streets, then countries. If you're going for a quirky game, make the gameplay comparably quirky. Aside from that, the puzzles just aren't hard enough.
There is some neat stuff of when you first encounter even a puzzle, because there's nothing in the first half an hour. There's no puzzles there. Mm-hmm. Then you start getting the bunny rabbit level, fire, I think, where you can feed the fire and
the water park.
Yeah, that's some good stuff there, but
they don't go far enough with it.
It's really rare. Most of it's just move around, do this, and you win, and you win, and you win. I'm personally not interested in the story, though, because it's just the same beats of oh, you beat the level? Here's the ironic, oh, you completed the level with extreme music behind it. And then we go back to the story bit.
The most simple thing they could have done is simply build on the mechanics. They introduced these mechanics, the rabbit chasing the piece of carrot that's in your hole, but they only use it one level. Why don't they use it after that? Why not build on these mechanics and combine them?
Once the player understands how something works, animals will chase the thing that's stuck in your hole, you can you can do anything with it.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. The difficulty is tuned to game journalists. The story is tuned to game journalists. The visuals are tuned to game journalists.
Oh, and I also have a game-breaking bug where my hole was stuck in a corner where it couldn't move from, and I had to close the game. I'm gonna go back to Fez. It feels like somebody tried to make a puzzle game, but didn't want to make too much of a puzzle game. Wanted to make a story game, but didn't want to make a lot of story because it's hard to make a good story. So they just kind of half-assed and just put oh, it's California, of course. Nothing else happens anywhere else. We're Californians. Maybe it's near the Bay Area, of course, because everybody's there. All the cool people are there. They say that, Chief. This is the anti-Peppy game. This is like a game you would choose because I would hate it, and I do hate it. So congratulations. And game journalists are gonna be like, what? In the current situation of video games being so violent and only resolving things through violence, Donut County is a breath of fresh air in our current society we live in.
I'm going to read out some reviews from outlets, okay? PC Gamer, 83%. Donut County is a short, entertaining tale of a trash panda who just wants a sweet quadcopter. Now that's not so bad, but then it gets worse. The Daily Dot, 80%. Donut County won't solve or illuminate that massive, multifaceted societal issue, but it will give you a chance to lay back and throw it down a hole.
Well, read me another, please, sir. There's gotta be give me Polygon or Kotaku. They gotta.
What's the worst I can find? Donut County is a singular experience that transcends its simple but potent core mechanic, thanks to its idiosyncratic humor, clever gameplay twists, and a gleeful sense of what makes swallowing the world into a whole so cathartic. See, the problem is, you don't swallow the world.
Yeah, let me violently, without regard for people, just swallow people up into a hole. Just like, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Just let me stuff all kinds of things into my deep gaping hole.
Yeah.
You know, why are you limiting me what I can stuff into my deep gaping hole?
Yeah, put it in my hole.
Yeah, just put anything in my hole. Let me put a house in my hole. Let me put a river in my hole if I want.
Yeah,
Give me an endless mode where I just keep going.
It's not that deep, okay? Stop. It's not that deep. My hole is not that deep, okay? Just stop. How long is the game, Punch?
So the actual game, start to finish, took me about 90 minutes, 1.5 hours.
Okay, 1.5 hours for $10.
That's not the worst part. If they were good, challenging puzzles...
Yeah, wasn't Portal 1 2 hours, 3 hours, depending how dumb you are? But Portal 1 is actually fun and good, and there's some depth there. I made this esoteric digital experience about being a disabled one-armed dwarf that's in a POW camp in Nazi Germany. It's actually Trump's America. 10 out of 10. Sorry, this is the type of game I hate.
Well then, I'll start. I refunded the game because I think the themes of gentrification and trash management in our beautiful city of Los Angeles haven't been explored deep enough for me to be distracted from the experiences I have in Trump's America. 3 out of 10.
As a bisexual minority from Eastern Europe, I cannot identify as being a raccoon who plays video games on his phone. Thus, I cannot give this game more than a 2 out of 10.
If you liked our review, please consider subscribing and liking the video. We've also recently started a Patreon, which you can find in the description below. And also thank you to Rumaru for being our first proper Patreon subscriber.